Hello, everybody. This is Gokay from Gateway Institutional Services. Our team manages a wide array of institutional clients, including hedge funds, institutional traders, and high net worth individuals. I'm excited to host our fourth episode of Gateway Institutional AMA series. So, welcome to our stream with Copper, the digital asset custody company. Today we have special guest, Takatoshi Shibayama, head of Sales APAC, Copper. And thank you for joining our stream. Nice to meet you. How are you? How do you feel?
Yeah, thank you very much, Gokay, for the invite. I feel very honored to be on this session with you. I feel fantastic. I mean, it's been a good day. The markets in general in crypto is not that great, but I think we're building out really interesting things that would make the industry much better. And I'd love to dive into those kind of topics with you on this session.
Well, thank you so much. And I know that your colleagues and friends call you like Taka Shiba. So may I call you Taka today?
Taka's good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And now, dear viewers, before we start the main part of our ML session, I would like to announce that Gateo has officially integrated with Copper ClearLoop network, and that it gives to clients the option trade on exchange while keeping their funds with Copper. So one of the many steps Gateo is taking to ensure safety of its clients' funds. So this is a great announcement. I'm really happy. So let's move on. And so Taka, are you ready to start?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who is Taka Shiba and what's your background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Japanese, though I don't sound like a Japanese, but I lived in the U.S. for quite some time, so I acquired the accent. Look, I've been in the financial industry for a very long time, about 20 plus years to be exact. I started off in proprietary investment teams across different investment banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. I did that up until the Lehman crash. I was investing in distressed credits and deep value type of investments. And after the Lehman crash, a lot of the proprietary teams had to shut down or minimize their exposure using balance sheets. And I moved over to the hedge fund side back in 2009 and moved to Singapore. So I've been here almost 13 years, although I had a little short stint in Hong Kong for 3 years, but generally in Southeast Asia for 13 years and counting now. It's a very long time. And I continued investing in distressed and value investing across the APAC region. And in 2015, I launched a hedge fund with a partner of mine. We started with an AUM about 200 million. But at the time I left in 2018, it grew to $1 billion. And currently, my other partner is still working on it. It's now $4 billion. So I guess he's done much better than when I was there. And we were just investing in Japanese equities, looking at with a little bit of distressed angle. But during that time, I really got interested in cryptocurrencies, and I thought, this is something that I need to be on. Back in 2001, when I started working, the whole internet boom was happening, and I thought I missed out on that great rally and moved over to the finance side. And it was pretty much downhill after that, right? I mean, you had the Lehman crisis, and there were crises before that, and there was more overlay of compliance and complexities around trading, et cetera. So it hasn't been like the biggest dream that we all kind of had when going into this industry. And I thought, when I was looking at crypto and how it can revolutionize how securities can be or even currencies can be transferred across the blockchain network and settled, I thought this is going to be the next big thing. I have to be on it. And so that's why I moved over to this side. I was investing in things with underlying value, and now I'm in this industry where the currency itself has no underlying value. So it's a little bit ironic, but it's been a really fun ride, very bumpy ride, but fun ride overall.
Wow, that's a quiet story. I'm really honored to have this AMA with you.
Wow. Yeah, thank you.
And so, Taka, in your role as a head of sales APAC in Cooper, so how are you building the best practice in the organization? Like, where are you focusing?
Yeah, well, look, the company itself, we can go into it deeper, but we launched this ClearLoop solution with Gate.io, which is a huge seminal moment for us. However, internally, there's a lot of things that we have to do in order to make our company successful. And when I joined Copper about 2 years ago, the company was around 30, 40 people. Wow. And it was a very small company. But now we have over 300 people. So it has transformed into a larger organization, and there's been a lot of internal changes. And we have to adopt to a hyper growth company. A lot of procedural changes internally, even the sales strategy, even regulations. A lot of things come into play when you don't really think about it when it's a 30-person company, but you have to think about it when it's 300 and you acquired more than 500 clients globally. So I wouldn't use this time to go into specific things, but the best practices for us. One thing I can focus on is it's very common in the crypto industry and also in a startup scene as well. But there's this motto of fake it till you make it. And I despise that kind of idea. Obviously, there is some value to it, I guess, to show that you're much bigger than what you actually are. But my motto, even since the beginning of my career, was to be humble and be genuine and honest about what you do. So even with my sales team or even my account management team, I always been telling them to be honest and exactly tell what are facts and never make assumptions and do not obviously lie. So this has been really something that I've been kind of ingraining into the organization, not just in APAC, but globally as well. So I think this is a very important thing that the whole industry, and again, not including crypto, but just in the whole technology startup scene, we should be really conscious about.
Yeah. This is I'm also agree, because like fake it until make it. It can take you to some part of level, but after it shows normal real results will take you much further.
Of course. And look, we're in the crypto custody business, and we're supposed to be the most stable business in this industry. We are the picks and shovels to this industry, right? And we deal with clients' assets, and our top priority is security. So if you're faking something or you're just trying to make yourself better than what you actually are, you're actually being very dishonest, and we have a fiducial duty to our clients to make sure that we are always upfront with our clients and be able to tell them what is actually happening at our company. So I think that's something that we all do, even in exchange or any company within this crypto industry should take note of.
Yeah, we should build everything based on safety and trust. It will make much more big difference. And
and for sure. We've seen too much of these wild things happening in this industry, and I think it's time we all stop this and really make this industry a much safer place to invest in.
Definitely. And so let's go to a little bit deeper. And how did Cooper came to life, and how is the position in the market right now?
Right. So, I am not a founder of the company, so I can tell you the story where, the founders were originally 5 members and started off in a small little apartment in Shoreditch, London. And they had this wall, and they were kind of writing all the things that they thought that was necessary in this crypto industry to make it a safer place. And initially I heard that they were looking to create like a safer exchange for people to trade on, but obviously there's so many competition out there. And at the time, this is back into early 2018, there weren't that many competitors in the custody space. And when our founders spoke to our original clients, their most important concern about trading in crypto was not really about the volatility or et cetera. It was about safe custody of assets. So that's where our founders decided to focus their attention on and build a system where it's not just a box where you hold your private keys, but actually built for the institutional investors. So that's the origin of our company.
Wow. That's a great explanation. Thank you so much. And so why a digital asset custody is the way forward for crypto? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, the if you look at the traditional finance industry, right, and this industry has been battle tested, and of course they had their crises, etc. But if you look at the traditional financial industry and the infrastructure of how assets are traded, you have various participants. You have the investors, you have the custodians, you have the brokers, you have the exchange, and you have clearing houses. So all these companies are working together to make sure that assets are safe, obviously, but they can execute the trades and deliver or settle the trades properly. Now, when the crypto industry was born, there was no such thing as any of these businesses, right? We had exchanges, which was originally designed so that you can convert your fiat currencies into Bitcoin. And it wasn't really for speculation. Obviously, it was more about payments. That's the original idea of Satoshi Nakamoto. But as the crypto industry matured, the exchanges had to take on a lot of these duties that were in the traditional world was already thought about and built out properly. And I know that crypto industry is trying to disrupt a lot of things in finance, but you don't have to disrupt everything. I mean, there are things that work, and you can take those elements into crypto industry. So what I think the digital assets industry is really in need of is a proper segregation of duties, so that there's no concentrated risk on one platform. So I think that's not to say anything that I'm against exchanges doing all these things, but I think that separation of businesses so that the exchanges can focus on product delivery, making your trade engines work, matching engines work. Those things are really essential, and that's for like NASDAQ or any of the exchanges out there, right? And Copper as a custodian would focus on security of assets. If exchanges didn't need to think about those security elements, then you can focus a lot more attention on product building and matching engines. So I think that it's not just the custody's part that's really needed, but all the elements around it is just really lacking in the crypto industry for it to mature to the next level.
Actually, like when you was explaining, you pointed a great point. And I would like to also ask, like, why digital asset, how do you ensure the security of your client's asset? Because you was mentioning. So can we go a little deeper about this?
Sure. So, at Copper, we use this technology called MPC, which is nothing new. It was designed back in 1970s. It's type of a cryptography that splits information into multiple pieces so that external hackers will find difficulties in piecing them together and formulating one source of information. We apply this technology to what we call sharding, or splitting the private key into three pieces. And there's a lot of custodians out there nowadays that apply this MPC technology to shard their keys. However, the configuration of these shards are quite different. At Copper, what we do is we have three different parties hold each of these shards. So one will be held with Copper, one with the client, and one with a trusted third party. And the reason why we actually split the private keys into three and have three entities hold it is to mitigate single point of failure risk. Let's say there's one party holding all three. Even though it's sharded into three, if that entity has some insolvency issues or financial troubles and the shards go missing, then how can you ensure the client's assets to be safe, right? So what we do is we have three entities, which mitigates that single point of failure risk. On a daily transaction basis, we'll have Copper and the client sign transactions using those shards. However, if either the entity has an issue, platform goes down on Copper side, or clients' shards get compromised, then we can bring in the trusted third party. Usually in this case, it's a cybersecurity company that holds the shard to recover the assets. So it's always 2 out of 3 shard configuration for Copper.
And actually, like, it was like kind of to my next question, but maybe we can go also that one. So that we have mentioned already about integration of the ClearLoop network. So I would like to also know about, like, what is ClearLoop and how the clients can use this system.
Sure. So ClearLoop concept was really designed very, very early on when copper was born. But in order to kind of get there, we needed a lot of the technologies to be put into place to make sure that clients' assets are safe with custody and they can trade on various trading venues without having to move your funds onto those venues. Mm-hmm. So with the MPC technology, it enables clients to be able to safeguard their assets in copper. And let's say with that, they would say, I have 10 Bitcoins, I want to trade on Gate. So what we do is we lock those 10 Bitcoins inside their wallet. And then through the API connections that we built with Gate, we'll send that information in nanoseconds to Gate. And Gate can confirm that there's collateral of that 10 Bitcoin locked inside Copper's wallet so that the investors can see that 10 Bitcoin allocated on Gate. And the clients can trade based on that 10 Bitcoins. They could do spot, they could do other types of derivatives, whatever they want to trade. And then when they need to close their trade or when the trade needs to settle, the Gate also leaves settlement balances with us so that we can net off the trades inside Copper rather than at the exchange. So basically, you're not using the blockchain to move funds to one wallet to another, which reduces the gas fees, obviously, and also the time of waiting for the funds to go to another wallet. And then most importantly, we mitigate the counterparty risk. The funds are always safe inside Copper's wallet, and even the trades are even settled inside Copper. So you don't have to rely on the exchange as a counterparty risk, but their funds are always safely kept, principal balance and settlement balances at Copper.
Well, yeah, because if the funds are staying the same place and it's never moving, so there is no actual risk. And after the process is done, it's just clarification and everything is settled. That's great. And what sets your digital assets custodian service apart from the competitors? Like, what is the difference?
Yeah, I think ClearLoop is clearly and excuse me for the pun, but clearly the differentiator. That is our flagship product, and it has been battle tested over 2.5 years that it has been live. And we had a few exchanges have financial troubles, but our clients' assets were safe within their wallets. So I think this is the most important thing that we have to offer to the market. But again, in the beginning, as I mentioned, we are always building our products so that it suits the institutional investor clients, so that even if there are products missing in the market, we always listen to our clients to enable or facilitate even better execution of trades and safeguarding their assets at Copper. So that's something that we really focus on, and we are our teams are designed differently as well. We have for the ClearLoop product, and you probably went through this with our team members, but obviously we have the product team, we have the sales team, but most importantly we have even the risk management team that can see the net exposure of all our clients trading on Gate, so they can calculate the settlement balances to make sure that for every settlement cycle there's enough funds for settling trades. And obviously compliance and legal and all these things. We are working as a proper custodian. We're not a self-custody model either. So I think that's one of the things that a few of the things that I think sets us apart from the other custodians.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so now here is $1 million question. And how has Cooper's experience been so far with Gate.io?
Look, the experience, I would say, has been very professional, and I'll explain why. Because each integration with exchanges are very difficult. Yeah. It's not just creating API endpoints and connect it and here we go, right? Obviously we have to discuss quite a lot around how we manage the collateral with our clients, how we introduce products to our clients. I think Gate had a lot of ideas around what they want to deliver to Copper's clients, and then the actual reality of what ClearLoop can provide. So there's been a lot of difficult conversations between our teams to get to where we are right now. And I think neither side decided to walk away from this, and we used both of our efforts to make sure that this integration can work and then get to market in time. So I found, the conversations all throughout the experience with Gate very professional.
Yeah, and this is likewise from our side. Like, we are really happy to integrate with you, and we was enjoying to work with your professional team on this integration. And
thank you very much.
You're welcome. And okay, so now we did hear about the Cooper business, and I assume our viewers would like to know more about the people who's standing behind the firm. So can you tell us a little bit more about the team?
Sure. So I could start with our CEO, Dimitri. So Dimitri has been in the traditional finance space as well. He was a CTO at a traditional hedge fund, and he was the mastermind behind all the technology that's been built around Copper's product. And then we have our chief revenue officer, Boris, who's been in the traditional finances as well as a salesperson. And we have, I could name a lot of people, but I think that what I want to say is, like, a lot of the people who work for Copper are generally from traditional finance that can bring what works into the team. Last year, we hired a group of senior members and junior members from Bank of America's prime brokerage desk into Copper, so that we can launch products that are suited for prime services, not prime brokerage, but prime services, which enables us to work with institutional investors a lot more above and beyond custody. So, these are, we're trying to bring in various concepts from finance into the crypto world, so that, as I mentioned again, we could mature this industry, we can service our clients much better. Because we see a lot of the traditional finance hedge funds and trading firms coming into this space, and they expect what they get from the original world that they're from, and they come to crypto and say, well, a lot of things are missing and what's going on. So we have to build our product to enable that service to our clients. So, right now for Copper's team, we call it a prime services and custody, because we're bringing those two elements into the crypto space.
Wow, yeah. And so we are almost at the end of our AMA series with Cooper. So before we wrap things up, I would like to ask, what are your expectations for 2023?
Yeah, so that's a very open question, so I'll answer it very openly. So for Copper, we will continue building out our prime services concept into crypto and building that into our platform. So there are a few projects that are running simultaneously that can enhance the experience for institutional investors to facilitate trades better. I won't go into details. You have to wait until they launch. But that is something that we will continue doing. We'll add more exchanges onto ClearLoop as well, obviously. And generally, I think for 2023, if you talk to anybody across the street, they'll say it'll be a very quiet market for digital assets. And I'm probably in the same bucket. But as any bear market, it's a time that we can build industry better. We've seen what doesn't work, so we can do what does work, and that's what we're going to be building as an industry as a whole. That's with Copper, that's with Gate, or anybody has a professional mindset in this crypto industry. And what I also see as the head of sales in APAC are the enterprise clients. We have a lot of financial institutions like banks that are looking to launch custody businesses in around tokenized securities, and pretty much every single institutional client that we speak to are looking at tokenized securities as something that they will be building out. And I think right now a lot of it's experimental. We see a lot of pilot programs around. However, I do still believe that even not just private securities, but even public securities will be transferred across blockchain, and that'll be the future. And we don't have to wait for 2 days for public equities to settle anymore. It'll be instant. And we'll and not just copper, but a lot of these financial institutions will continue to build that future where all the securities that we know today can be transferred across blockchain and settled. And this is something that will continuously build, not just in 2023, but beyond as well.
Wow. Okay. So now we that hear about the copper and we heard about the team. So it's time to hear about the community. So which social channels do you have, and how someone can reach out to connect with you guys?
Yeah, so Copper has a LinkedIn channel. So you could look at copper.co and type that in. You'll find a logo of our company there. And we also have a Twitter account as well. Look, I mean, you can reach out to me as well. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find it through my full name, Takatoshi Shibayama. And happy to connect with anybody who is interested in anything digital assets related, or even custody for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for great information. And finally, what will be our audience should take from away today AMA session?
Yeah, I think that the takeaway is that industry participants like us, Gate, Copper, are building a safe environment for people to trade crypto. So if anybody's really interested in crypto, or people who have been a little bit hesitant to get into crypto, who are institutional investors, we are building a safer environment for clients like yourselves. So don't be afraid. Please, talk to us, and then we'll be there to help with anything that is digital assets related.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, this is beyond the idea. We are building, we are trying to make safer and trustworthy. This is great thing what we providing for community, and thanks for that also, Copper. And so Taka, thank you very much for your all its time. It's been really informative, and I hope our audience who always watch us knows better about you and Copper. It was pleasure to talk with you and to learn all details. Now I am more interested about Copper itself, and get in touch with Copper Co, visit their websites and read about more information, follow their report and analysis. And before we end our session, Taka, would you like to add anything else?
No, I think I said everything that I need to say, really.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks to everybody who watched our AMA series. Follow on social media, and for more information, write our key account managers. And this is Gokay from Gateway Institutional Services. Please give like to this video, subscribe our channel, and write your feedbacks and questions in the comments. Let us know who would you like to see for our next episode. Happy to be your gateway to crypto. Have a good day, and bye-bye.